Hello, and welcome to Mainline Executive Coaching ACT, which stands for And Cultural Transformation, featuring Master Certified Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaches Maikel Bailey and Rich Barron. Brought to you by Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaching, ILEC, the world's top executive coaching brand. Once again, thank you, and I hope you enjoy today's show.
All right, here we go. This is Maikel Bailey and Rich Barron, and we've got a particular guest with us that we're very excited to have join us, Joe Tate. Here we are, Mainline Executive Coaching. That's what we do here, Mainline Executive Coaching, ACT, Act. Leaders, you have to act. You have to get yourself into action. ACT also stands for And Cultural Transformation. There's this wonderful connection between leadership and culture, and the better they are, the healthier they are, the better and the healthier the organization and what they do. So here's what we're going to be talking about with Joe today. We're going to be talking about this very interesting, again, reciprocal relationship between this particular case, leadership turnover, retention, and then employee retention. That's what we want to talk about today. So that's what we're going to do. And I think this is very topical, very relevant to right now. Joe, give us your street cred here. What's your background? Where you come from? What do you do?
Yeah. I've been in HR for over 20 years, and with small, medium, and large companies. I worked for a small outfit down the street. They're called UPS. They have about 500,000 employees. So I kind of cut my teeth at UPS and learned all about HR and people and frontline management. At UPS, it's always promotion from within, and also spent almost 10 years in their HR group at UPS. So worked there, but I've worked for some small startups, and now I have my own HR consulting business where I help small to medium clients and large clients with day-to-day issues and challenges and dealing with regulations. That more and more we're seeing state regulations. Certainly there's the federal regulations, but state regulations are changing on a daily basis. So yeah, I'm an HR guy. I've been an HR guy for a long time, and I love the people side of that. It's not always the easiest job in the building, but it's never the same day twice. That's for sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Changes bring changes. Changes also bring opportunities. And that's what we're looking for. Where are the opportunities? Not just changes, because changes can become discouraging. Too many changes, too fast, too quick, and all that kind of stuff. Leaders have got to be ahead of that. They've got to be thinking ahead, moving ahead, pre-planning. And when the time comes, they've got to be there ready to start directing, helping, encouraging. What is the deal here? And there's a huge deal when it comes these days to people in leadership positions not staying. And I know there's a number of reasons why, but this whole thing of leadership leaving, not staying. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of worries out there too. They're looking at, will this be the summer and the fall of mass departures? And there's that worry there, and at very high levels. We're seeing many areas of the country where there's this sudden rebound from the pandemic, and there are opportunity everywhere. I look in our region, and unemployment down around 2.9%, which is zero in my book. So there's this opportunity to go elsewhere, and we're seeing the introduction of more flexibility in the workplace than we've ever seen. With every candidate that I've talked to, and I take that back, it's all but a small portion. And I talk to candidates all the time that they're looking for flexibility is on their mind. Flexibility in the time of day that they work, flexibility in where they work, how often they come into the office. But you're right with those leaders who that's going to be a challenge for these companies to engage with those leaders and maybe find out ahead of time why they're not matching up with their goals and where they want the company to go, because senior leaders are walking away and they're taking decades or more experience with them as they walk out the door.
Are they walking away because of retirement, or are they walking away
No.
because of better opportunities?
Better opportunities. Even at retirement age, if they're 62, 65, they're looking for maybe something that's more fractional in what they do, that they can do from home with people they love. And there are a lot of different reasons why they're walking away and seeing some freedom in that stepping away.
So there's right now hiring away the all-stars, hiring away the ringers that really know how to get the job done. And there's companies that are in position that they can pay them a lot more money, give them those flexibility perks that you're talking about. That makes for a very, very competitive place in the marketplace as far as good leaders who can deliver. So that's kind of one issue of why leaders are walking away.
Yeah.
Another I'm wondering about is when it comes to leaders, as leaders are promoted or people are promoted up to the organization, are they always prepared for that leadership role? Do they really know what they're doing? Do they feel like they have the confidence and the competence to walk into it and start right away and making that happen?
I think there are a couple of different steps there where quite often there's a kind of two different layers of promotional advances that I see. First is when you have an operational or a frontline employee of any type, and they're moving into a first-time management situation and management opportunity. Those people have proven that they can do the frontline work, and it's this reward for going into management. Those people need. It's like going back to day one when you onboarded that person. They need the training and development.
Right.
There's a big lack of that these days. So one thing my company does and that you guys do is building those skills and those interpersonal skills and engaging those people and proving to them that they can do it. That next step up is either to a VP level or a C-suite level where that person is driven into those big picture strategic items where they have to think about people and budgets and long-term planning. And that's another step where development and skills-based training, coaching, mentoring has to take place.
You've been in those situations. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
You've been in those situations. Talk to us about what your experience is.
I want to go back and just kind of address something that Joe said, that, some of the candidates you're talking to, they want their flexibility. Mm-hmm. They want this, they want that. And it just seems to me like nowadays and talking, and we have some experience in this with job coaching, that they want something quicker than, their predecessors got it. They want it now. And, it's interesting. You look on LinkedIn, everybody's got a title. Everybody has to have a title. And the thing is, I got to tell you, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And here's the thing. There's 33% of all the organizations out there who say that a leadership pipeline is a huge human capital issue in companies. 44% of all leadership positions are now held by millennials. And a lot of those don't have the experience to get there. And so I think going back to what you were talking about is with people my age, and I say maybe boomers or maybe older
Xers.
They put in, it was a different mindset, I think, and I'm not belittling or saying anything about millennials or anything. It's just a different mindset. I think we realized you had to put in your time. It took time to get there, and now you see a lot of them that are really trying to fast track themselves. And once they do, they don't know what to do when they get there. They're lost.
Yeah.
And even at an educational level, as they're coming out of college, their professors and leaders are saying, hey, go here for 3 years and grab some skills and then go to this segment, and which can be beneficial, but it's a new paradigm for sure.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing about, you're talking about somebody on the production line. They're very, very good at what they do, right? It's kind of like me and Rich in this sense. I don't sing. I can't sing. I don't hear music really well. He's got a, perfect pitch stuff. He sings, he plays all these instruments.
Yeah.
He knows how to do that. I, on the other hand, I can hear when it's right. I can hear when it's wrong, but I don't know how to produce it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying here?
Yes.
So you got a person who's got the ability to produce, right? Then you take them up to a management level. Just because you can do that here does not mean that you have the skills here to do it, though the assumption is because you know how to do it, you can then therefore teach others or motivate others to do it. But it's different. It's a completely different set of skills that they may not be aware of what it's going to take to be able to fulfill that role. And so at some level, sometimes the organization doesn't realize the distinction between the ability to do and then the ability to teach and lead and hold people accountable. There's some real differences there. And so they may not see that. And same thing here, going into that higher level of strategic thinking. You just kind of people assume that they can just get there. And that may not be and that's what I'm wondering. Do people, as they start advancing, remember the old Peter principle? Mm-hmm. Get advanced to the level of your inadequacy, right?
Right.
Okay. So what we may be doing here without realizing is we may be creating unintentionally failure. And if we realize that we're unintentionally creating failure, and we see that pattern again and again in our organization, perhaps what we need to do is step back and say, we need a better plan. We need a better way to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So help us understand, how then does that better plan include an executive coach to assist those people in the organization?
Yeah. It's a delicate time for that employee. They're testing these new waters, and they're trying to decide if this will work for them as well. And generationally, there are different approaches. For me, when it was more of the school of hard knocks, if I skinned my elbow, my dad would tell me to rub some dirt on it.
Right.
That's just it's different. And the millennials are really looking for, and I work with so many millennials, and I love the millennials, and they're working with. They're strong. They're opinionated. They will share their opinion. But there's beyond that hard shell there's some fragility behind that. There's some fragile things going on there where they need and expect coaches and mentors, someone that they can just openly go into an office or send a text message and get some help.
Instant feedback.
I think about there's a kid named Ryan Booth. He's on my team, and he'll have, we're at this level now that he'll have these millennial moments that we both call him that. And he's very open to it. And he said, no, help me out here, millennial moment. And let's talk about this. One of the things I use is on my phone, I have a little app called Marco Polo. And it's a free app where it's like a walkie-talkie. You trade video conversations. And I missed a one-on-one meeting one day with Ryan Booth. And he left me a Marco Polo. He knew I had the app. He left me a Marco Polo, and he talked. He went into this dialogue of how heartbroken he was that I wasn't at that Marco Polo at the one-on-one meeting. But he proceeded to have a full one-on-one meeting with me through this technology where we've connected. Now since that day, probably 18 months ago, I bet we've had 100 one-on-one meetings through Marco Polo, where he can say, hey, I'm having this millennial moment. I need support. I need a coach. What do you think in this? How can you help me out? And it's really connected us in new ways. And I'm open to coaching more. And he's open to saying, hey, yeah, I'm feeling a moment of weakness here that I don't know what to do. And I'm feeling like I'm failing. Help me out.
You just hit on something really important, that vulnerability.
Oh yeah, that's
needing to be vulnerable to have someone, and it takes a lot of courage, really.
Yeah.
To open up and say, hey, I'm struggling, can you help me? And that's an important part of moving on to the next level. That really is.
Yeah.
So, and that's, that's cool. And the thing is coaching, people are getting coaching. It's not easy. It's not easy because there's going to be some hard conversations.
And I think, thinking back to my dad and that the generations before us and this kind of tough, kind of knocked down generation and I'm thinking about times of failure that it really created, I think in many generations, this fear of failure. And I get to see this every year as I'm a coach up at Snowbird, and I teach kids how to ski, usually between the ages of 6 and 14. And there, if you've been to Snowbird, Utah, fear of just incline. I mean, it's one of the steepest mountains around. So there's that fear, and it's like that fear that we face in business. But in business, we don't do a very good job of celebrating failure. We just don't. Now on the mountain, that's easy for me. That I've got 7. I think in this class, I had 7-year-old girls, and these girls were gymnasts and dancers, and they would push the envelope. And sure enough, it would happen. Every time we were on the mountain, someone would crash. And on the mountain, when someone crashes and they lose their goggles and both gloves and 2 poles and a ski and their helmet's still on, thankfully, we call it a yard sale.
Yard sale. Yeah.
Because all the stuff is scattered across the yard. But my team knows that when there's a yard sale like that, we cheer and we hit our poles together and we celebrate because that person on the team was pushing up to the envelope of their skills and abilities. And they went just a little too far. The yard sale happened. And instead of tears and fear and all of this, we celebrate that. But we don't do a good job of that in business. We've all committed a crime at business where I will never go down that road again because somebody at the C level or a vice president called me out on that, and either privately or publicly. And it's like that fear. I'm never going there again. But my girls can't do that on the mountain. They've got to go down that steeper slope, and I've got to prepare them for that.
So it creates a strange kind of dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the fear of being inadequate. I'm going to be discovered that
we all have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be discovered.
And then the imposter syndrome. So now I'm pretending because I don't want to get caught at it because I'm already afraid. I lack the confidence. I lack the competence. Rich was talking about the vulnerability, the courage, the humility to be able to step it up and say, so what I'm hearing in this discussion as we kind of start wrapping up is this: the coach can be that bridge that helps you move through those fears, move through those doubts so that you're just not afraid of being one of these days found out, but you say, let's show you how to do it. Let's get you involved. Let's actually get you taking some ownership and taking those kinds of chances. Yeah. And when you fall down, don't worry about it because we're going to pick you back up right away, get you back on the road.
I've rolled down that mountain and
that's key.
I can teach you how to prevent that. And those are it's going to happen, but I can teach you. And maybe celebrating failure a little bit more. I was in a restaurant the other day, and it was this Mexican restaurant. Oh, I love the place. And they have these terracotta floors. And the waitress comes out, she's carrying 4 meals, and she drops her plate of 4 meals. Oh. And it breaks on and it's just this silence for like a half second. It's silence. And then every worker there, every other server, the manager, the people at the back of the house, the kitchen people, they all started cheering. They're like, and it just, it was this sense of relief through the whole restaurant. And then I watched the manager, and he went right out. The other servers helped that server. The manager went straight to the table and said, I need to inform you that your meals are lying on the floor over there, and we're going to fix all this. But that's a very different approach to this quiet, oh no,
shaming.
They're celebrating.
Blaming,
you can celebrate failure. And she never wants that to happen again. But immediately she felt part of this team when it happened. It's a different approach.
Yeah. I think there's a lesson here. I got to jump onto something because me and Joe grew up together. Pretty much. We grew up skiing together. We built our first music studio together. Yeah. And we had this great group of friends we grew up with. And we all grew up skiing. And the rule was if we skied up to the edge of a cliff and someone took their goggles off and threw it off the cliff, the rule was we all had to go down there and help retrieve it. So everybody had to jump off this cliff no matter what. And there was a lot of yard sales. And some of these were pretty sketchy, but we all did it as a group. Maybe there's a lesson there. I don't know. And so in supporting that,
well, the lesson is, here's the lesson. I'll tell you the lesson is, the team has each other's back.
Yeah.
That's true.
You got each other's back unconditionally.
Yeah.
We're going to go. If you go, we're going to go too. We'll work this out together. That's what I'm hearing. This is great stuff. Great stuff. And leadership is the one that sets the tone for that.
Sure.
Or they set the other one where it's like, oh, let's hunker down and hide. Let's hope we don't get caught. That's what that whole thing is.
That fear-based culture of don't mess up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Excellent. Joe, someone wants to get a hold of you. They want to have that conversation with you about what you do and how you can help them out. How do they do it?
Yeah. The easiest way is just through our website. It's boostrecruits.com. And my contact information is right there. I'm certainly on LinkedIn, and I support companies mostly in the Western United States, but throughout the U.S. And this has really been fun. I appreciate the invitation.
Outstanding. Thank you. It's great to have you here today with us and share your wisdom, your experience. Thank you so much. All right, my friend. Take us home.
Joe, it was awesome. It's always good to have you around and see you and, touch base. So once again, thank you. And if you want to get a hold of us, Executive Leaders Act, ILEC.com. And you can go to our website and leave us a message, look us up, send us an email, something you want to talk about in an upcoming podcast, or just comments or suggestions, or perhaps, free coaching sessions. We can definitely talk about that. But once again, thank you, and look forward to seeing you next time, and take care.
We get to do this again.
We're going to do it. We are going to do it again. We are. We're going to do it. We're going to do it tomorrow.
I'll be here.
All right. Take care, and we'll see you later. Once again, thank you for joining us. If you'd like to find out anything more about executive coaching or to schedule a free coaching session with us, go to our website, Executive Leaders Act, ILEC.com. Schedule some time with us. We'd love to hear from you and like to talk with you further about how we can improve your leadership capability. This podcast was brought to you by Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaching, the world's top coaching brand. Once again, have a great day and take care.